Hello, hello, hello. Crafty Chris here with another Thursday night Scrap Your Scraps, except I'm not going to be scrapping scraps today. I'm working with an actual paper pack that is a full paper pack. I have been tasked with coming up with layouts, cards, and possibly art journal page or two for this product, which is Carta Bella, and it is the Flower Shop collection. So this is June 2026. So this is a current collection for June 2026. And I had an idea when I sort of saw this about how I wanted a one-page layout to look. So I've already separated the paper. Let's get rid of the advertising and move our stickers up to the top. I pulled out this piece because it is the plainest piece in the pack. Now on the back it's quite fussy, but on this side it's quite plain, and I'm going to use that for a particular piece in the layout. And then I've divided the layout into pattern paper that has a lighter pattern on the back, and let me just put that someplace handy, and then all the cut aparts, because we will do some fussy cutting and using of the cut aparts. Now, my vision, so if we have our 12 by 12 piece of paper here, that's going to be the layouts, some sort of a layout. And then I was thinking I would cut this into two panels of 6 inches by 12, and it would be sort of a popover that would, okay, so it would come out from the sides of the layout and obviously from the sides of the page protector, and fold over the layout as if it were a window. And so the idea would be to create a faux window that would look through. So this would be all the blue, and this would be all the blue, and that would all look through to the page below. Okay, so that's theory. Now we got to see if we can make this happen. So this is going to be the last thing I do, because I want to make sure that when I'm cutting the opening that I'm going to focus on some sort of image that's behind in the layout. So we're going to start first with the actual layout, and let's take a look at some of the paper that we have. I think for the background of the layout I want something simple, and I want to make sure that it coordinates nicely with the blue that's happening here. So there's only a few choices for that. I'm thinking that this is too dark, it's too close in hue, so we're not going to use that one in terms of the plain side. And then we have the light blue, which would be maybe too. So if we open that up, we have light blue on the back. I'm not a big fan of that one either. Pink is not my big thing, so I'm just going to say no to pink. Now this one I kind of like because it's a different tone, well, different colors for sure, but also different tone. This is deep and this is light, so this is a possibility. And it gives you the idea of opening a window onto something. Too close, I think these guys are. And pink again. And I like the plaid, but I think we would use that in a different way, not for a background. So I think we're going to stick with the green right now. All right, so that's all my paper background. So now I'm going to decide how many images I really want to have on this. I'm putting this aside again. I don't want to have a massive amount of images, but I do want to have some images that will represent whatever's happening. So I'm going to pull out a couple of 4x6s. So these are my just planning pages. I make these up all the time with scrap paper. So we got a couple of 4x6s, and this is my little container I hold all my planning layouts in. So let's just kind of lay a few things out. I like the idea of having a strong side, and then what can we do here? Maybe some 2x2s, or maybe 2x3s. Oh, maybe 2x3s. Here we go. There's one. 2x2 is a little bit small, I feel. There's another 2x3. Got them all organized, but they're all in different positions. Okay, so that's quite a few photos. It may drop down after this. Now, I want to have a little bit of movement in my page, so I am actually going to alternate these. And now I'm going to start looking through my pieces that I have that I can put up. I love this piece, but see, that would make a beautiful window, but it's just a little bit too small, and you lose the detail. If you put a 4x6 on there, or even if you trim your 4x6 down, you end up with losing a lot of the pretty detail on the inside. So let's see. I think that these might be a little big. I like that house. I might fussy cut some of these, so let's put that aside. Now we have a bunch of different things going on here. That's just nice on its own. So I think first, that's a 6. Okay, so that it's not going to fill this up. So I might trim one of these guys down. I want to cut out the sentiment, and then I'm going to use the background as a background for one of the photos. So I'm going to do that first. Let's get the cutter, 12x12 cutter. Now, I don't want to cut all the way across. I'm going to cut as far as I need to separate this piece. There we go. And I'm going to do it down here as well. Ooh, you can barely see where that color matches. Okay. Alrighty. Now, I don't know if I can do this. Nope. So I'm going to use my scissors on this remaining slot. Use my big scissors on my big cut. So I just need to go down a little more. And the reason I'm taking extra time to do this is because I don't know what I'm going to use the rest of the paper for. And this half I might use for something else. So I'm going to take my time and just trim, oops, along the edge of this. And I'll straighten it out, make it nice and straight after the fact. Alrighty. So let's just put that stuff aside, deal with this guy. I like this Happy Little Memories. And I want to cut this out, so we're going to get our mat and our X-Acto. There we go. And I don't really care if I cut this exactly, because I can do that with scissors afterwards. But I just have to make sure that I separate it from the background as close as I can, because I don't want to have any of the white show, and I don't know how I'm going to cut down the sentiment. So I didn't cut through in some places, but I don't mind because I'm not going to see that. Now I'm realizing I have a little edge there that I need to trim off to make it nice and straight. There we go. And then this side should be straight. And then this side should be straight. I'm being fussy. You don't have to be this fussy. And then that side that we hand cut, I'm just going to make that nice and straight. There we go. All of our edges are straight. And whoops, the lid just flew right off. Oh, well, I'll get that later. So I don't need this now. And I'm going to trim down my photo to match this mat. And this mat is 4 inches. So I'm going to do 3 3/4 inches. And this is, looks like 5.5. So this is 5.5 by 4. So that's 3 3/4 by 5 1/4. So 3 3/4. Changing my mat by 5 1/4. So this will be my photo. Let's change what that says so we know what we're doing. 3 3/4 by 5 1/4. There we go, and that should mount on there nicely, and it does. So there's one element. And I'm just going to check and see if I trim this down square, it's going to fit everything. Let's try it. I'm going to do it with my small cutter because it has an edge that I can line everything up with. So I want it to be straight first of all. I'm putting the points top and bottom aligned with the number 2, just cutting an edge, and then here I'm cutting with my words lined up with the edge of my finger protector, because that gives me 1/8 of an inch more on the other side, which is a nice balance. And now I'm doing the same thing with the side of the M. And now I'm doing the same thing with the top of the flowers. And this will tell me if I can get this all sort of fit in. So I do have a little bit of blue showing in and around. Hang on a second, make sure that is correct. There we go. So I'm going to round the corners of these, and that will take care of the leftover little bits of blue. And I think I'm going to do a standard corner. There we go. Takes off that excess blue nicely. There we go. So now we have one element for the page. And I may put a background on that, or I may not. And that goes there. Happy little memories. Whoops, one thing I did forget to do is take off this bottom strip. So let's do that. There we go. I like to keep these little pieces because I find I can use them as elements on pages. This and this go together. I'm just going to put a little bit of tape behind that. We have this, then these two guys are going to go there. Something like this. Doesn't have to be exact. So there we are starting. All right. Now, I do want to add some flowers to this because the flowers are beautiful flowers. They're hydrangeas, and I just want to figure out which one I would like the most. So these are nice big hydrangea, and they're very fresh looking. So that actually could be something that I fussy cut if I chose to. This is baskets or bags of flowers. Oh, that's quite nice too. It's nice and fresh. Not a big bags of flowers person. Ribbons, not really. Cars. No, I don't think so. Okay, so I think I like this, but I want to have this. Am I going to put that across the bottom? So this is where the thinking goes. So if I put that across the bottom, or do I put that on the side? I'm going to put it across the bottom, and I'm going to put a little bit of pink across there as well. So let's find some of that pink that I know is here. And we have this pink. So I can put a little bit of pink across the bottom. Or maybe I'll just do a tear technique. That's what I'll do. So I'm going to tear it into sort of that kind of shape. And I want to have a tear show. And I'm putting both papers together so that the tears will more or less match. There we go. And then I can have this tear line. I actually am going to put it, there we go, half and half. So this side I'm going to cut off at 6 inches. I won't have to cut off the under one in the same way. So I do want this to be, do it this way, 6 inches. So there we go. So that's going to be 6 inches. This piece can go back in my stash, and these two pieces can go back in the stash, or maybe I'll just hang on to them, because who knows, maybe I'll use them across the top. Now this piece, I don't need that big a piece, so I put it in this way. I'm just going to make sure I have enough at the bottom here. Whoa, sorry. So that I have a little bit of space here. So I'm just taking enough to make sure that it will show, but I don't want to waste too much of the paper. So I am just going down and trimming a bit, and this is going in my stash. All right. So this will align with that at the bottom of my page. Oh, I'm so excited now. I've got like an instant little shot of, oops, something going on here. Okay, let's move you guys out of the way. So I am first going to tape this where I want it. I do want enough of it so I can see the pink beyond the white. Oh yeah. Alrighty, now let's see. Whoop, missed a spot. There we go. Making sure my leaf pattern is going up. Put this on the bottom. There we go. Love it. And you know what? Do I like this? Just thinking here. Not pink fan, but hey, that might look kind of fun. Or can be like a river running through it. River of green. Actually, you know what? I really like this. I'm going to go for it. Sometimes things just pop up, even though it wasn't in your initial plan. It's always good to be flexible. And I'm going to shift this and then trim off the excess. The nice thing about the tape runner is you can just roll it off. And let's see. There we go. That looks fun. Okay, so now let's trim off the back. And there's a little piece of pink for another day. And there is our layout. I love it. It just makes it that much more special. Now I may not even want all these. I was originally going to have them hither and yon. So maybe happy little memories. And I know I'm going to fussy cut some more flowers for that. So let's work on some background paper. Don't know. I feel like I need to keep the blue as the background. Yes. And the pink is just the accent. That's what I think I'm going to do. All right, let's go back to that piece of paper that I used. There we go. Now, that came out of this little guy. So now I have to figure out what I'm going to do for blue background. Just looking at my papers for blue background. So I'm going to use this guy. Right, okay. So I'm going to cut down 6 1/4. And unfortunately I have a problem with my cutter that takes me a second to make sure I've lined up properly. Because I find that my cutter, there's no marks here, so I'm always off. So that's how I handle it. I use my ruler. And then this should... I'm really off. I wasn't paying attention. It's 5 3/4. Oh no, 6 1/4. So that's right. Oh, goodness. But I should have done that 4 1/4. So now we have lots of paper, more than we need. So now I'm going to cut this down 4 1/4. There we go. Just stick this guy on there. And often you'll see that on my videos I cut out the inside of this to use for a mat for something else. But because I've got this all cut up, I think I can get everything out of here without any problem. So, although that's a nice piece of paper for a card. All right, now I'm going to do it. Let's get the mat out. We're going to cut the inside of this out. I use a metal ruler, and we are going to take a 1/2 inch. And the Carta Bella paper happens to be a little bit heavier, so it's harder to actually know when you're getting cut right through. But as long as you're within that quarter, you're outside of that 1/4 inch that is going to be showing. So if you overcut, it's not a problem, as long as you go over 1/4 inch. If you're not deep enough, it doesn't really matter, because as long as you pull away from the back, you will maintain the front color, which is the blue, which is what we're going to use again. And we don't care about the back, because the back is not going to be used. And this is going to be covered. It's the same when you're cutting photos. The back of the photo isn't important. So if you don't cut all the way through, you don't have to worry about it. And this is truly a 4x6. There we go. So there's our other 4x6. And this fits perfectly for 2x3s or for a 3x4. do a 3x4 on this one. I'm not going to cut the inside out of this. Although I could, but I still have to do those two. 4 1/4 is what I need. Shift this around a little bit. There we go. So there's that. Now, let's do some 2x3s. Get them ready. Although I'm starting to think, do I need the 2x3s? Let's hold off on the 2x3s for now. Let's look at some things that we can create a cluster with. Let's take a look at some stickers. Now we have our title, Happy Little Memories. So greens and blues, or greens and pinks rather, are I think what we're going to be using, because I got quite a bit of blue in here. And I just realized my hand is sticking here because I have some tape exposed. There we go. All right, now I want to elevate. Let me see. I love this little house, but I'm thinking the little house will get lost. Could mat it and pop it up. That's kind of cute. Let's put pop dots on that. I am cutting pop dots. Oh, I have some pop dots here. I'm just going to put them in the corners. And one in the center to support it. And I am going to, drop it on the floor. That's probably not the best thing to do. And then I'm going to powder it so it doesn't stick. Blow that off. Wipe that with my hand. It smells pretty. And we are going to have that overlaying that. Now this kind of reminds me of a river. So that's one thing. Now we do have flower bitty bobs. So we could add additional flowers underneath the corners of this and pop this up and pop the edge of those up. So I think we will do that as well. The nice thing about some of these pop dots is they have excess material left over. I use it all. I just trim it into pieces that I can use on my pages. I don't care what they look like underneath, and they work, and they're still popping things up, and sometimes the shapes of them work out pretty well for whatever I'm doing. Called using up your stuff. We can have that in there, and then this can be popped on top of that. Can you see that? There we go. And I need something for the other side. Let me see. I like the house here. That kind of gets lost. I wonder if I should actually pop that on something. We'll have a look at that. Would I like something like that? Not loving it. We could do a little wreath. It has a bit of pink to go with it. You could pop that under there like that and have it come in front. That would anchor it nicely, so let's do that. So back in the day, I used to love distressing everything I did, and then I got out of the habit of it. And I'm seeing now, in this layout in particular, that it would have been kind of good to have some distressing happening, because I don't want it to wash away to nothing. So distressing would have helped to pop the edges, but you know, it's not, because it's out of practice, it's just something I don't think about until I'm in the middle of doing things, and then I'm kind of already got things stuck down, so it'd be difficult to change that up. But it is something to think about when you are, I didn't want to take those off. Oh well. So that's going to go there, popped over top. I'm going to leave that to the side for now. This guy's going to go there. I need something in here. And it doesn't have to be a sticker. Where's the pages I was cutting up? Let's see. Oh, there it is. Let's see the page I've already trimmed up. What do I have that could be a nice little thing for this corner, or a couple of things for that corner. Just thought of something. I wonder if I could have this person on that corner. She might be a little too big. This one's a little smaller. I like that one. So this one I'm just going to cut out with scissors because I'm not worried about things being straight. There we go. So I'm taking that out. And I'm going to fussy cut it. I like to get the big parts off first. And then we go in and fussy cut it. Now I just want to leave a little bit of white around it. And of course, fussy cutting works best if you move the paper rather than the scissors. I just get it sort of cut down to what I think I like, and then I go back and finesse it. So if I find pointy parts, then I just trim those pointy parts off. If I need to go in a little bit more to accentuate something, I'll do that after the fact. If I've gone too thick in some places, I'll thin it down a little bit. And this is a little too round. Detail there. Alright, so there's my lady's legs. And I'm going to use this sentiment on the page as well. Let's get rid of some of this stuff. So this is going to go here. My lady's going to pop up there. And I think we're going to have a basket of something in front of her. I think we'll go to this basket. So I'm thinking of having the basket of flowers just coming off her feet, and then that whole thing just sitting at the bottom there. So we will play with that in a moment. Let's trim this down. We want it to be a tight sentiment. So I'm using the edge of my plastic finger protector right along the bottom of the bottom words, and that gives me my flat edge. And then everything else lines up along that finger protector to give me that 1/16 of an inch, which is not going to work right here, but that's okay. I have a plan for that. So I need to just going to cut a tiny bit down, tiny bit more this way. I'm being fussy, folks. You totally don't have to be this fussy. Nice corner on that. And then I want it to trim straight from there. So this, I'm going to go there. There we go. Nice. Okay, that totally fluked, but it worked out well. Sometimes you just got to sit and look at it for a little bit. So this is our little tag, and now I'm just going to trim the corners. Rather than round them, just trim them approximately rounded, because the my rounders don't really work that well for this kind of thing. So all I'm going to do is just take the little corner off of that, and take the little corner off of that, and I'm trying to just eyeball that it's all the same amount. Won't really matter in the long run. There we go. So now we have a finished piece. All right, so this is going to go somewhere else. Okay, all of my things have moved. It's because I put my cutter up on the table all the time. It's my thing. This and this go here. This is already sticky and sticking to my table, but that's going to go under there like that. And this is going to go here like that. And this is going to go there like that. All right, so I'm going to put some powder on there after I get my pop dots on it. Because, so I can have pop dots across the bottom on this. Now the idea is, I should probably put this down first so I have it in its proper location. Okay, let's start up there. So this is going to go underneath this slightly, and then that's going to go up there like that. So let's just have that go down just like that. Okay, pop dots on here. It's going underneath, over top, and it can sit flat on there. So no pop dots there, pop dots all here. Okay, so I'm just going to put pencil mark, no pop dots. Center there, that's going to be regular tape, and that'll be regular tape on top of there. This is going to slip under there, like so. Under, slipping that over. You know what? This is too much. There we go. And again, that is too much. So I'm just going to put flat adhesive down there. And then this can slide in there a little better. There we go. Whoop. Now, where is this going to be? Right about there. Make sure. Yep. So let's take this off. So if my voice has changed, it's because I'm now standing, so I can see exactly what I'm doing. So this is going to go there, like so. There we go. Now we can line up all of these guys. I have to make sure I have enough room for her. Just right there. So that should be fine. You want to make the angles the same. So that the eyeballs don't go crazy. Now this is, I'm going to powder that and put this like this. There we go. And this one, it's going to go up here, similar sort of distance. There we go. This is going to go underneath, a little bit further down. And then we have this that goes over top of that one. I'm going to put this back because I'm leaving that one on because it's over top of a photo. And that one, I can still flip the photo under. This is coming together very nicely. I feel like I want to put that up there. Okay, I think I do want to put that up there. There we go. As I was saying, I feel like I want to put that up there because I do like that. And what else do I want to do? Let's take a look and see what other things we have. So I have been using these two. Might as well stick with these two. See what else there is. I'm going to turn this over so I can focus. Oh, I like those little guys. Do I have those on my stickers, I wonder? 1, 2, there's only 2, 3. Oh, but there's all kinds of little sayings. All right. So I'm just going to spatter a few things. So we have some sayings on here. This I want to put down. So I'm just going to do it because I really feel like that needs to be there. And there we go. I think I like it better there. Flowers from the small stickers. They have the little tiny petals that make up a hydrangea in 3 different sizes. So we're going to put those around the saying. And maybe I should put some over on that side too. Just don't want to overdo it, you know? When you overdo it, it sometimes is no good. There we go. Just to give it some balance. All right, looking at what we have here now. Don't need that. What do we have still to do? This is my house. My house looks crooked at the bottom. Maybe it's just deceiving. It is crooked. There we go. That feels better. All right. Just going to add a few words over here. It's too big. They have to be smaller. Happy best day. Oh, I don't have many pink words. Let's do sweet. There we go. A couple of words there. Feel like I need to just add something to the bottom here. There we go, just to balance that a little bit. All right. I think that we're going to hold off there. Okay, so let's go to those 2 side panels for my blue paper. Where did I hide that? Here it is. So now I'm going to cut this straight down the center. Now, we have to make sure that we cut this in the right direction. So we are taking our ruler again. This time we want 6 inches. I'm going to turn it this way. 6 inches at the edge here. Yep. Okay. Let's see if that... Oh, beautiful. It's perfect. It's exactly the same. Lovely. All right, now these are going to be flips. So they are going to live like this on top of the layout, and then they're going to open like that. That's a lot, isn't it? What about if we had it like this, and then we opened it like that? I think that's better. And this will be more like wallpaper from the inside of the house looking out kind of thing. And then you open the windows. All right. How we're going to attach these is using these strips. So we have this strip here. Actually, before I even go that far, we have to do some, we have to make a fold line in it. So let me put this back. And we're going to get our scoreboard, and we are going to put this, I want to measure the halfway point so that I get it right, so it doesn't go offline. So this sticker is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 sixteenths of an inch. All right, that is craziness. So, but we are going to put a mark. 2, 4, 6. So half of 13 is 6.5. So 2, 4, 6.5. All right. So I'm lining up the halfway point that I just marked here with anywhere on here. So the receding part there, and getting my bone folder. And now we are going to draw a fold line. All right. And this should fold very easily, which it does. So we're good with the fold on that. So let's do this one at a time. So I've got this sort of preliminarily folded. Let's get our layout. I am going to put one side into the fold. Ah, but they are not 12 by 12. Interesting. So 1/8 of an inch down. So I'm just lining this up with the edge. And you want to make sure that you haven't got it. It has to be able to fold over top. And I feel like I might need some glue for this. So there we go. We've got that folded. And now this, make sure it's the right side up, is going to take this piece lined up. So you can barely see that on the side there. Now the other one you will be able to see. We're going to line it all up, top and bottom, all the way down, making sure the whole thing lies flat. There we go. And there we have our fold. Ta-da! There's one flap. Now the other flap is going to be using the blue one, so it will show up slightly differently. Where is it? And we have to measure that one as well. And I want the scallop edge to be on the outside edge. All right. So now let's find a place to measure. I would use this, but because I'm looking at it at an angle and it's a glass plate, before I go down, it gives me a bit of a distorted look. So it's much better for me to do it this way. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 sixteenths. So now I need 5.5 sixteenths. Now that gives me only a little bit. So I'm going to move that over just a smudge because I want to make sure that where the scallop moves down here, it's going to be able to fold over properly. If I use my first mark, which is exactly half, it's very close to that dip. And we're going to line that up with any hole, any track we want. There we go. And I'm going to go down and I'm going to fold that. There we go. It is very close. Very close. So we're just kind of manhandling it into its proper place. All right. So we're going to take this off of here. Get back our paper. I want to have the front with the scallops. So I am just going to first line up the paper because we know it's a little bit bigger. And then you have this nice little scallop. And then this piece lines up with the end of your page. There we are. Open and close. Okay, I think I've changed my mind. I don't think I want this to be a window. I think I like it just like an opening for this layout. So this can be an extension of more pictures in the layout. All right, so these are distracting me because they have words and pattern on them. So I'm going to take them off and just put on some plain white cards because I'm too distracted. So that was a 4x6. So let's do the 4x6. 3 3/4 by 5 1/4. And we had 3 by 4. There we go. Okay. This will make it much easier for me to see. I'm getting distracted by all the pattern. So a little bit of tape to keep them on. So how are you all doing with your work out there? Are you working along with me or just watching? There we go. That feels better. Now I can see what's going on the page. Okay. So now I want just photos on each side of this. And I think I want it's 6 inches. So I think I want 2x3s. I had 2x3s in here somewhere. So if we're looking at 2x3s, then we can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Oh, looks like brickwork. It's brilliant. So then we'll do the same thing here. 2. So it's just a smattering of photos from an event. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. I think that's brilliant. Okay. We need to line that up. I don't know if I can line that up. Sure I can. So this is the challenge. Don't have enough there, but that's okay. I'm going to draw it on here. So when I put these two together, I want it to have the same amount of space all the way around. So to me, that looks like 5/16 of an inch. It is. All right. So let's get our big ruler. I have an 18-inch ruler, which comes in handy for this kind of thing. So we are doing 5/8 of an inch. Or sorry, 5/16 of an inch. 2, 4. Light pencil line down from top to bottom. Do the same on this side. There we go. You can't see the lines, but I'll bring it up to you. All right, and now we're going to turn this around and do 5/16 of an inch. 5/16 of an inch, sorry. Sharp pencil for this work. 5/16. Okay, so we're just going to do the outer edges. All right. I am just going to stick these down so that we can see if this is all going to work out okay. Okay, so 5/8 from there I need to mark off. And I don't have to draw a line. I just have to line my picture up with that. 5/8, a little bit farther down here, got a bit extra. So it must mean that I'm off on a measurement somewhere. But you know what? It's all good. All right, so that's one side. I like it. So that side's done. And then this side. There we go. And of course, there's still 2 more to put on there, but I'm not going to cut any paper for that. So when we open up, we have a story. The main photos here, and then additional photos that complement the story. And then on the front side, I think we need to do a combination of words and it's like a book, you know? So I want something that's going to show up. And let's see the biggies. We have big ones here. Big ones that all go in the same direction, which is not a bad thing, actually. So I don't want those 2, but I might want the other 2. So I'm going to cut this apart. Okay, so now I'm thinking I can do something where these are jumping from one side to the other. And I think I would trim this down and put green in the background. Having said that, if I trim this down and put pink around it, that would coordinate with this. And then I can trim this down and have it with green. I can have that with pink, not with green, that with pink. And then this one could also be with green. And then I could have pictures there. Yes, I like it. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We are taking 4 inches off of this piece. But I'm keeping the name on. This is going to go back in my stash, which had the nice flowers on it. Now I'm going to divide this into 2 6s. Get my ruler out here. So this gives me 2 6 backgrounds, and they are identical. I love it. It doesn't have to be that pink. It could be this pink. But that pink is more like that pink than that is, so it does have to be that pink. Okay, never mind. So now I am doing 4 inches of this. And I'm keeping that together because I've got 2 bits on there. And cutting this in half as well. Let's get rid of this big guy. And one of these is going back in my papers, and the other one is staying here for this. All right, so now we are trimming down all of these 1/16 of an inch. And now that should just give us a little bit of pink around it. Now, do I want more pink? think I need to make it 1/8 of an inch around everything, so I need another 1/16 of an inch. There, let's see how that looks. Yeah, that's a little more substantial. And if I wanted to save that, I could save that as well on the inside. All right, so that one, so we're actually taking off 1/8 of an inch all the way around. So that one goes on this one. Beautiful. And then I'll just have this one to do. And that goes on that one. Beautiful. Okay, so now, how do I want to see these? First, let's stick them down properly. Am I going to cut out the inside, folks? I should. I should, shouldn't I? Yes, I should. Okay, we're going to do that. And then we have these papers left over. So we are saving paper. So that was for this one, correct? Yes. That's interesting. That doesn't look even. There we go. There's one. And then we're going to do this one. All right. Okay. Let's bring this down. Now, do I put the pink up there, the green there, and the white there? Or do I put the dream here, the white there, and the pink up there? Or do I put the white up there, the green there, and the pink there, green there, pink there, green there, pink there, green there, pink there. This is getting closer. I like this there. Okay. One more try. You know what? I think we're going to go with this, this, and that. Yeah. I have made the decision. So now we need to stick this down. Now, because this is going to move back and forth quite a bit, you want to make sure that you have enough adhesive on it. And how you're going to keep it from, I don't like the way that fits. So I need to trim a little off of here because it's hanging over and I don't like that. I'm going to take it from this side. This should work out better now. There we go. There we go. All right, there we are. And when I flip this over, it doesn't show. Perfect. This one was fine. This one seems to fit. Isn't that funny? Just that one didn't seem right. There we go. And then this one goes right in here. Perfect. And when we open, we don't see any of that. Awesome. Perfect. Some paper to put away. Scraps in the garbage. All right. And now we're going to put photos there. And we have, this should be a 4x6 spot. So I feel like I want to do 3.5 by 5 inch photos. Or do I do 3.5 by 3.5 inch photos? Yeah, actually those. Then I lose that. No, those are too big. I want 3.5 by 5 inch photos. And these pieces, jelly printing. Okay, so this should be good enough. Now, do I want to mat those or just leave them the way they are? Hard to say, right? You can see through those, but once you get the photos on there. So I'm going to leave it at the way it is. And I think we're going to wait and see. When we have the photos, then we can decide if we need to mat them or not. How are you going to I'm overdubbing this section because I've changed my mind as to how to handle the covering of the pages with page protectors. What you're going to do is find page protectors that are side loading. So they have 3 sides, top and bottom, and let's say the right side closed and the left side is open at the spine. And what you're going to do is trim off the right hand side right against the seam so that you have now got it sealed across the top and bottom. The left side has the opening and the spine, and the right side is now open as well. And then you'll just slip that on to cover the main page. Then to complete the side panels, you need to get 2 6 by 12 inch flaps that you can purchase in a package. 49 and Market have them, Creative Memories have them. There's a number of different suppliers that have the 6 by 12 flip flaps. And what you will do is simply the adhesive part of it you will stick to the back of the main page after you've slipped it over each side, and that will take care of the sides, so they're protected as well. And this is part 1 of, I want to say, 3 using this material. So look for part 2. Hope you enjoyed this session, and if you enjoyed it, please share it with your friends. And don't forget to like and subscribe at the end of the video to see other things that I come up with in paper crafting. See you soon. Bye.